Good evening there. An increasingly common sight in the fields of East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire, but deer are now posing a real danger on the region's roads. Deer are responsible for more than 40,000 road accidents nationwide each year, and the situation has got so bad that one group is calling for a cull of the animals. Amanda Thompson reports.
One of nature's most elegant creatures, but a menace on the roads. The Deer Initiative, which has a role in advising the government, says without a cull, the deer population will grow out of control.
Deer are a prey animal. There is no predator in the country now, apart from foxes maybe taking very young deer.
As a professional deer stalker, John gets called in to kill deer for landowners. He says careful management is what's needed to stop collisions on the road.
Man has to be the apex predator and kill them as humanely as we can. And you know, a rifle bullet is the way to do that. And if it's done to a plan and done within the seasons, it causes as little disturbance to the herd as a whole, and is as ethical as it can be.
Sam is not alone in thinking a deer cull would be wrong, even though just 2 days before her wedding she hit a deer close to the shop where she works near Driffield.
It was absolutely terrifying. It was 9 o'clock at night and the deer just came from absolute nowhere, shot across the road from the driver's side and went onto the bonnet, and the deer's head was literally right at the windscreen. It was terrifying.
It didn't cost Sam her life, but getting her car repaired was expensive. This body shop at Hutton Cranswick repairs many deer-damaged vehicles.
Normally they tend to be sort of bonnet, headlights, bumper, all sort of beyond repair. And then if the deer flies up, you get roof damage, windscreen damage. You know, it's quite substantial, some of them.
2 or 3 cars end up in this body shop each week through the winter, having had collisions with deer. So now is the time to be most vigilant, to make sure cars don't end up being damaged, and of course to avoid potentially very serious injuries.
But dangerous or not, these creatures are loved. Any plan to kill deer by the thousand will meet stiff opposition. Amanda Thompson, BBC Look North, near Driffield.
Well, just before we came on the air, I spoke to Mimi Bakechi from the animal rights group People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I asked her if there was ever a good enough reason to cull deer.
Culls are actually a really ineffective way to deal with conflicts with wildlife. And that's because they don't actually address the problem. As long as an area remains attractive or hospitable, then more animals will just move in to take the place of the ones who have been killed, and they'll reproduce even more quickly. So we need to look at humane ways of dealing with any conflicts that don't resolve in, or that don't end up in a killing cycle. We need to actually address the problem.
But the deer, they're causing accidents, they're damaging crops and property. How would you actually manage the population then, if you're saying culling isn't the answer, to get rid of the numbers of deer, which have gone up, doubled in the past 10 years?
Well, successful population management programs deal with things like habitat modification, humane exclusion, like putting up electric fences or repellents, in order to keep the animals out. Because as I said, as long as the area is hospitable, then more animals will move in, and it doesn't solve the problem. It just perpetuates a killing cycle.
Deer are involved in 42,000 accidents a year. What do you say, for example, to the family of the 15-year-old boy Ben Madden from Brough, who was killed when his bicycle crashed into a deer in August?
I'm so sorry for them. That's absolutely horrible. I drive, my family all drive, my friends all drive. I would want to see a situation where we don't have to see any more of these accidents, and unfortunately scapegoating deer is not going to resolve the situation of accidents on the road. We're not going to see a reduction in the number of accidents if we don't actually address the problem.
There was one trial on one stretch of road that saw culling in operation, and accidents went from 50 a year to none. I mean, isn't that evidence that actually culling will cut down on the accidents in this country?
if you don't address the environment, then more animals will move in. So you may see a drop in numbers. Obviously, you'll see a drop in numbers initially, but as I said, as long as that area is hospitable, then more animals will move in, and so the numbers will spike again. It's not a long-term solution. Long-term solutions deal with humane repellents, putting up electric fences in order to stop the animals from crossing. You know, this country used to be covered in woods, and as we build more roads and we encroach on the space of wildlife, we need to find humane solutions that allow us to live together, but we're never going to achieve ecological harmony through the barrel of a gun.
Okay, well, I'm sure people have some strong views on this one. Very good to talk to you tonight, Mimi. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.